Blackburn Rovers head into a busy old week this week, taking on two Lancashire opposition, but the starter before the main course could be a little bit tasty in itself as we take on Blackpool. And I got a Tangerine fan standing on the line to talk all about it. We'll get into it, all of it, next. That's right, folks, back once again in another video today. Rovers Rivals takes a little look at the Tangerine side of Lancashire as we entertain Blackpool this coming Tuesday over in the Carabao Cup. Will we get through to round three, or will Blackpool, managerless Blackpool, get themselves into the next round? We'll get to all of that and more in a second. A big shout out to the VIPs. They're the patrons, you know who you are. And again, if you're new, hit the old subscribe. Your one-stop shop for Rovers. Carabao Cup is right here under one roof. Now, before we jump into that, before we jump into the video, something brand new to the channel. And what is it? It's the join button. That's right. We've gone there. Memberships. That's right. We've opened up the floodgates to members, so you can now join and support the channel in another way. We have our first member, so a big shout out to him. But you can also join that member and becoming an extra special member of the community. Just click on the join button, follow the on-screen instructions, and become part of the gang. Joining me once again is Lee. Lee Charles is back to talk all things Blackpool as we look forward to a Lancashirean affair this midweek as Rovers entertain Blackpool.
A Lancashire derby. A Lancashire derby.
That's a Lancashire derby, and Blackpool are at Ewood Park. So, first and foremost, how are things over at Bloomfield Road? A bit of a manic week this past week. No more Critchley. Entertaining draw yesterday. Yeah. Just sum it all up for us.
It's like it's basically, you know, being a Blackpool fan is basically just torturing yourself year on, year out. Mainly, we have the odd bits of joy, and we live for those. You know, we live for the odd bits of joy, but for the most part, it's pretty torturous being a Blackpool fan. And it's been like that. We were successful with the 1953 Cup final, and my dad actually went to the 1953 Cup final, bless him, and he took me as a kid to Blackpool. And I used to say that my dad made me a seasider to ruin my life. that's how it felt. And but when he died, he actually lived to see the Premier League season, and he died in the November of the year after. So it was a father and son journey that actually bookended perfectly. And the decade between 2000 and 2010, where we got promotion to the Premier League, was amazing, really. In spite of, we had the worst, the Oystons, who we hated. But we just had so much success. We seemed to become the playoff kings of the world. We still are, the most successful playoff team in ever in history. We won 6 so far, and just from coming up through, we've actually come up through all the divisions in the playoffs. We've had a playoff, win in the 4th division in League 2, League 1, the 3rd division, and the Championship into the Premiership. So we've done those promotions in the playoffs. So it was great. We won a couple of LDV finals. And when we actually got into the Premier League, it kind of made my journey with my dad make sense. Just, and the Oystons ran, who, people who don't know Blackpool, but they were like, hated beyond belief. They started suing fans in the end, and we all boycotted, and that's another story. But for some unknown reason, they just had a lucky thing. In spite of everything they did that you wouldn't think you could do, it all seemed to work. I mean, they had Carl Oyston paying players £60, £70 a week in the summer, didn't it? They had to wash their own kits. We had no kit man, so they had to take their own kits home and wash them in we had a training ground that was just like, oh my God, it was just like the worst thing. They had an ice bath which outside, which was actually like a big bucket thing with just water and ice in it. It was like outside, like a big container. Just the whole thing was just like Fred Carnos, and yet somehow that sort of tough place to come sort of bonded players together, like them against the world. They were the Bash Street kids, and they did things beyond belief. And they managed to get an investor in called Valeri Belakon, a Latvian banker, and he he came to Blackpool and said that, I'm going to make, we were in like the third division, League Two. And he said, I'm going to get you in the Premier League within 5 years. I was like, you're having a laugh, pal. There's not a bloody chance of Blackpool getting in the Premier League. And he did it in four years.
Wow.
So that was amazing. And then he got us in the Premier League and he got the Oysters and he won this £96 million, which was beyond belief for a club that never spent like 10 bob on anything. I think our highest player at that time that we'd ever bought was Chris Malkin, and he was like 200,000 or something. That was the most ever, but it was just simply frees or loans or, just never spent money. In fact, when we got promoted, Keegan Parker, when we got promoted from League One into the Championship, because I interviewed Keegan Parker, he scored the winner that got us at Wembley, curled it in. It was like, the winning goal, the last goal, and they offered him less when he got promoted, so he left. But they offered him less money. I mean, crazy. Some bloody unbelievable. Anyway, so Bellicon comes in, he does this miracle, he gets Blackpool into the Premier League, builds a South Stand. He bought players like Charlie Adam, David Vaughan. He actually bought players. And then when they got in the Premier League, they just took all the money out of the club. So Owen Oyston paid himself like £12 million directors, the biggest director thing ever, because he said he was owed all this over all the years he's been pumping money in that. I'm going to say there was no money pumped in really. So, it was just a tax fiddle really. If he made any losses, it was just obviously, against his profits or whatever. But he just like froze Valerie Bellicon out of the club, completely out. So the fans boycotted for 5 years, which is another story. It was a sad time, 5 years of not going to watch your team. Especially, I've said it on before, my little one was 8. And when we came back, he was like 13. And he was talking about our mascot, Bloomfield Bear, when I was going to, like the last match I took to, he was saying like, how does he tie his shoes and how does he eat? And, he's asking all the little kiddie questions, you know what I mean? How can he get there? Where's his house? And then the next time I'm taking him, like virtually the very next football match I took him to was 5 years later, and he's 13, and he's like, he's telling me he should be here, he should be, what's he doing coming down? And he's been at all these academies, he's mad on football, and I'm thinking, God, he's not talking about bloody Bloomfield Bear anymore. So I missed it. As a dad, I've missed those like magical years, and they are. There's with kids, there's a magical time when they get to. Well, it's all magical, but when they get to 8, they get this sort of like know-it-all sort of stuff. So they know things, but they don't really know anything. They talk to you, but they've learned something at school, and you come back and think, what's he going on about? People from the rain or something? If you're talking about some blooming. Some downpour somewhere. So you missed all those years, and that was another sad thing of being a Blackpool fan. So, and then we've come back and we've got this new owner who's rode in on a horse saying he was, he's like a unicorn, something you couldn't find, a Blackpool fan with like loads of money, and he's going to do this, he's going to do that. And he actually started off okay. We got promotion back into the Championship, but he just clearly hasn't got the funds. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's all right, but I just don't think he actually has the funds to do all the things he needs to do. But it annoys me because he knew the things he had to do. So the things he had to do was he had to finish off the ground, because we've got, I don't know if anybody knows, but we have one side is like it's like a temporary semi-permanent sort of structure which can be built. It's all pile driven in. So, it's all proper, they spent it's amazing how the Oysters got it built in the summer, but it's still temporary with seats on stanchions, and there's nothing behind it. So you can't make any money out of it. All the seats are just on stanchions, which, people have actually kind of broken sometimes. But anyway, it's only got a safety certificate for about another year, I think. So he knew he had to, he's got to build a stand there. He knew that coming in. Then the training ground that I was talking about before needs doing. The Oysters were talking about doing a training ground for probably 20, 30 years. And it's still down at Squires Gate where Stan Matthews and Morton, all that train, But it's not big enough to do all the things now, because your training ground has to have like 4G pitches, and it's got to have, academy sort of pitches, and it's just not big enough to do all that. It's big. It's probably about two football pitches wide, but it's not big enough. They have spent quite a lot of money down there. They've put these like modular buildings down, so they've got a bit of a gym down there, and they've got proper shower and changing facilities, where it was just all in like containers. It was horrendous. Honestly, I did a video on it actually, because I went down with the supporters who were cleaning it all off when we came back. The actual supporters just were cleaning it. I went and filmed down there. It was horrific. They didn't even have like sprinkler water or anything. Anyway, so it's improved a lot. But what's happened is, after lockdown, the price of like building things has gone like through the roof. So where he was originally thinking the stand was going to cost him about 11 million, and the training ground probably, I don't know, less than 10, I think. So it's probably looking about 20 million. It's now 22 million to build the training ground, and 15, 16, maybe even 20 million to build the stand. So that's, you know what I mean? And he's not like a billionaire. He was running. It's all a bit complicated because he has this. What is it that he does? It's a hedge fund.
Hedge fund.
So
yeah, right.
He was running $1 billion hedge fund, but that doesn't mean he's got $1 billion. That's just there's people with $1 million that he looks after, sort of thing. So we don't really know. Nobody knows how much he's worth, but of course he's in trouble now for this insider dealing thing. So he's had to give all the money back. So now he hasn't got any hedge fund. So this is it. This is being a Blackpool fan. So
it sounds pretty hairy and scary right now.
It's horrific. But then we had Critch back, as you know. Critch came back, which unfortunately he seems to make the same mistake, the owner, because he brought back Simon Grayson, who had got us promoted out of because he's a Blackpool fan. He knows. I think it's because he is a Blackpool fan that he knows. So he knows Simon Grayson, because he got us promoted from League 2 into the Championship. So he brought Simon Grayson back, but Simon Grayson Mark II was terrible. I mean, he was just awful. He was like ruined by his Leeds United experience, where he was on that. Yeah. No, the Sunderland Till I Die he was on, wasn't he? He was on that program, and he got sacked. So I think that kind of ruined him. So he was bad. So he got sacked, and then he got Critch in, and Critch, we loved him, and he got us promoted. And then Steven Gerrard came along to Critch and said, "Do you want to come and work at Aston Villa with me?" And he left us. He just left us, and that him leaving in that summer kind of created a domino effect where everything went wrong the following season. So he then brought Michael Appleton back. Oof. Now, Michael Appleton, he went from us to you, didn't he? He left.
Yeah, well back.
Yeah. So Michael Appleton came after Holloway. So that was a tough act to follow, obviously. But he came in after Holloway and spent about 12 weeks at Blackpool and thought, like, oh no, this isn't what I was promised. These oysters are like nightmare. They're not giving me anything that they said we would. So he was off. That's it. I'm off. So he went to you and left us. Yeah. So when Simon Sadler appointed him as manager, it divided the fans. And there was this rumor he had a Preston tattoo on his arm. And it just went so wrong, man. And they hated him. And the trouble is, when you have a manager at Blackpool that doesn't unite the fans, because it's the only thing we've got. It's the only thing we're good at. We're not good at anything else, but what we're good at is having 12,000 people that sound like 40. We are so like, if we are behind the team and we're making lots of noise, it is unbelievable. And I went to the Championship for the whole season. We went to every game. I went to every away game, and yet Blackburn Rovers would be loud, at times, but you don't have a song for a corner, and you don't have we have songs for everything. So we never really, if you go to Blackburn Road, we never actually, it's just going all the time. If we're on fire, we've got songs for players, songs for corners, songs for everything. And when people come to Blackburn Road, they're like, "What is this?" Because nobody does that. You do go to grounds and they can be like, say, for instance, you go to Nottingham Forest. When they sing City of Mine, it is like so loud. It's terrifying. And then if they score a goal, it's like a bomb going off. You know what I mean? You're like, oh my God, they've scored, And if they're going at the referee, same as Sunderland, they're the same. If they're shouting at the referee, it's loud, but that's it. Whereas Blackpool, it just never starts. It's just like, it's like chaos, it is. And if you divide the fans and they're not like that, we lose what we are, we lose the thing we are. I remember we played Oldham in the semi-final to go to the playoff final, the second leg at home. And when we were coming out, and it was deafening, that North Stand. And we only had like two sides and a temporary stand at the time. And we're coming out, and there was some Sky engineers, like, doing the cabling and stuff. And my dad got talking to me. He said, do you enjoy it today? And the guy said, we can't get over this ground. He said, we've been like all season, we've been to every single Premier League ground, He said, we've just never heard any. We can't even figure out how, like, this little, like, the old 3,500, whatever. And they're saying it's not possible for it to sound as loud as it does. And it is like deafening, but divide the fans, and it's a problem. And so when he brought Critch back, it was exactly the same thing. And I'd said it on my video when I was coming back, that people will not want him back, because it's like forgiving your ex, isn't it? For going off with somebody and then it not working out, and then she coming back, and you don't trust her. You know what I mean?
It's not 100% there.
Like, you're having a laugh, like, you know what I mean? You've gone off with this guy, and now you want me to take you back, kind of thing. And that's what it felt like with Critch. And so he's been under that pressure that he wasn't under the first time, and I don't think he's coped with it. And he had this. He plays, or he was playing like a 3-5-2 or 3-5-1-1. You know what I mean? But he was sticking rigidly to this way of, I don't like it. I don't know if you like it, where you're passing it around the bloody back for like, So you have these possession stats that are like 6. Blackpool have had 70% possession, put 2 shots the whole game. You know what I mean? And this is what it's like. It's like, and Blackpool would play this game where they would attack, come down the right wing, overlap everything else. The guy overlaps down the left wing, comes against a defender who's just, getting in the way. Oh no, back it goes to the halfway line, and then it's just rinse and repeat. Get to the box. Defender gets in the way of it. No, we've got to go back again. And we never actually we'd have anybody who would like run into the box or even try. Like we had Josh Bowler, he would. He would go at people, but we haven't got anybody who does that. So every ball goes forward, back, and across, and side, and forward, and then they go back across the back, and then they just hoof one. In the end, they have to launch it long, and then we lose it. And it just goes. It was like that. And you're thinking, what's he watching? And last year we would have made the playoffs, but for the fact that we lost at some of the worst. On Boxing Day we went to Burton Albion. They hadn't won for like 12 bloody games. You know what I mean? They were bloody hopeless. And we were up there. If we'd have won that game, we'd have been in the playoff zone. You know what I mean? And I'm going Boxing Day to Burton. You know what I mean? It's cold. I'm set off early in the morning. I've done my video. I'm catching a bloody coach at like 7 a.m. It's like bloody freezing, but I'm full of hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I come home and coach drops me off at the Saddle pub, which is, it's bloody Saddle pub, and I sit in they have like fairy lights outside, so I sat with my camera and I just gave it. Honestly, exactly how he just ruined, it ruined Boxing Day. Absolutely had. We lost to them 1-0. They had a right fluky goal where the guy crossed it in, and it went in between the defender. The goalie went for it and it went past him. It just trickled in this, and then we just spent the whole game doing exactly that, sideways, backwards, and then he would his substitution would only be like changing a right winger for a right winger, or changing a left winger for, putting a left back on for a left back. So we just, put a new guy on, but we just kept doing the same shitty thing. You're thinking, and he did it over and over again. It just, the next thing went to Port Vale, another team in the bottom three. We got smashed 3-0. I mean, it was a bit, but we lost to all these really bottom clubs. And of course, then in the pre-season, we had a bad we had a terrible. I think we might have won one, but it was probably against like Chorley or something. But any decent team that we played, we lost. We even played two League Two teams, Tranmere Rovers, and I can't remember the other one, on the same day. We had two games on the same day. He sent one team to one team to the other. And we lost 6-2 on aggregate, 3-1 on both games to League Two. So you're thinking, this isn't looking good, is it? You're thinking this is not a great start. Anyway, so the fixtures come out. Our first two games are Crawley and Stockport County, both promoted. Yeah, we are we didn't get relegated from the Championship this year, but we got relegated the year before, and we had decent players. You would think still from the Championship. We still think of ourselves as we should have got back in the Championship. So we're playing like we're thinking we're kind of good enough to get back into the second the Championship. These have just come up, so lambs to the slaughter. You think, come on, Blackpool. So we lose, we lose away at Crawley 2-1, and we didn't have many shots on. I think that we had the one. Well, we must have had the one shot on target because we scored. That was it. Just that one, and then we played Stockport County and lost 3-0 at home, and we didn't have one single shot.
Yikes.
So he had to go, really. Do you know what I mean? Bless him. And I liked him. I liked him as a person. He was nice. And we went to on the Friday before the Stockport game. There was like there was a special night celebrating the new. We put like new signage up on the back of the South Stand saying, well, they were going to put playoff kings, but they just put playoff. I don't know, playoff finalists or something, but it had all the 6 different ones. It's on a huge thing. The fans have raised the money for this. It's all up behind us. And there was a night where they had a couple of players from each of the promotion sides, and they made some little videos of each one, and then they came and talked. But they had Critch on. He was there, and they had him on, and he was so happy and smiley and full of full of excitement, and he stayed to watch all the players as well, and he was laughing at all the jokes, and he was in such a good mood. And then we lose 3-0. I felt so bad for him. I did. I thought, oh God, I couldn't. He just seemed so happy, and it's kind of sad that it didn't work out. But you can't keep. It's not good for your mental health when you're not getting one single. I took. You've seen Eamon O'Keefe, who's like ex-Everton and Wigan. I'm having these former players in as guests because I've changed my vlogging style, which we're going to talk about because we can't film the match, so it's a bit boring just listening to me all the time because I don't see football like some people do. I'm like a stick of rock, so I'm like tangerine. Like if you cut me open, I would have like Blackpool rock. It would just be inside in the middle of it. So I only ever see Blackpool. When I'm watching the game, I haven't got a clue. If you start talking to me about Blackburn Rovers players, I'll have never heard of any of them. I can assure you.
I'll cross that question off.
Yeah, I don't know any, so don't ask me what I think of him because I haven't got. Honestly, I just watch Blackpool. You know what I mean? My obsession is Blackpool. It always has been Blackpool, and I just when I'm watching the match, we're either playing well or we're not playing well, and we're either attacking well or we're not attacking well, or we're defending well or we're defending terrible, and that's all I see. Do you know what I mean? So I thought they can't have a season of me talking gibberish, on my own. So I thought I'll get some because my dad was brilliant. He honestly he was a really good footballer, and he would see things that I didn't see. I'd be going like, oh, how did he miss that, Dad? How could you miss that? And my dad would be going like, well, it was on his left foot, and he was trying to get on his right foot. I didn't even notice what foot he were on. I just saw him miss it. You know? So my dad always saw, and I thought if I get these former players in to sit with me, they'll see things that I don't see, you know. So it'll be interesting for me, and I thought it'll be interesting for everybody else as well to not have to listen to me prattling on. So that's where we are at the moment. Was there one question there? Did I answer two or three?
I've probably got about six answers in all that. But what I really want to know is who is taking over the reins from Critchley? Who do you want to be in there? I've read Charlie Adam linked around. Would you want him back in a coaching capacity, or Ryan Lowe, or I don't know? What is your take as a diehard Tangerine?
Wash your mouth out, dude.
Sorry.
Ryan Lowe, are you having a laugh? After
he lives up there, though.
Yeah, but he divide the fans. You honestly think the manager who the Nobbers hated like beyond belief? They hated him. I've been on P&E online, you know, they just hated him. There's no way he would have him here. Can you imagine the reaction?
But who have I seen? Who else is that Barry Murphy fella? Who else is linked right now?
It's a tough one, really, isn't it? Because it's a big decision. Charlie Adam, I think, will be Blackpool manager one day, but I don't think he's got the experience yet, and I don't think they'll go with him. I can't. At one time, I thought they brought Keogh back, you know, with a view to maybe him taking over the role, but he kind of proved on Saturday that he's not ready for it because he blew it. He did blow it, you know what I mean? We were 4-1 up, 4-1 up away from home, and you really that was the time when you're 4-1 up is the time to start passing it around the back and playing all the stuff that you've been playing, where we can hold the ball forever. But we carried on, you know, trying to get a fifth and everything. And then we got caught, and you know, we gave away a free kick right on the edge, right in the D, like the perfect place. You know, and the guy buried it, and then it's 4-2. And then the panic starts to come in, doesn't it? And it's I'm watching it. I'm thinking we have got to get the next goal. If they get a third here, we're in big trouble. You know what I mean? And then they got a third, and then they scored a fourth straight away. We managed to hang on in the end, but from where we were at that time, if it had just used his brain, because he was playing a 3-4-3, and we had Jordan Gabriel on the bench, who for me is our best right. You know, he's our best player. He's just brilliant, and he was on the bench. But you could have brought him on. A good manager would have said, right, you know, we'll go 4 at the back now. You know, we'll just go 4 at the back, 2 banks of 4, and make it really hard to get through us. But we didn't. We just carried on, like recklessly losing balls going forward, and we just put ourselves. We gave away a ball for the third. We just gave it away, faffing around with it in our own half, and they dispossessed us and went and scored. So I don't think it'll be Keogh. I think
Richie
that would
Wellens,
be
I just see is up there in the
Richie Wellens, but he's another one. Jane hates him. She hates Richie Wellens because she's never forgiven him for getting sent off at Oldham in the last game of the season, where Blackpool needed a draw to stay up, and we lost. And we got relegated. She was there. And she blames him because he got sent off in that game. She'll never forgive him ever. She just won't forgive him. So I don't think he'd go down well with her. And he's a strange character. He was, I liked him, you know, but he was a right cocky mank. He is as cocky as anything. But he's not doing that well with Leyton Orient, is he, at the moment? So is he the answer? I
do like Pete Wild. I think he was doing good at Barrow. I don't know what went wrong with him at Barrow. I don't know why he's not there anymore, but he was doing all right.
Do well, but is he good enough to come from Barrow? Would you risk it? You know, he's got to get this right. The problem is for Sadler now. He's got 2 or 3 wrong, hasn't he? You know, even Critch, who he got right, like, you know, did the dirty on him by leaving, didn't he? And he gave him like a 4.5-year extension on his contract. So he loved him, you know. Simon Sadler really loved him and trusted him, and he let him down. So, you know, he then brought in Appleton. Then he brought in Mick McCarthy with his bloody boring, bloody Mick McCarthy. Christ almighty. The trouble is, Mick McCarthy has to have a big team, you know, giants, innit? Because that's the way he plays. Blackpool were like, you know, We actually look a bit taller now. We've got bigger players in, but we weren't a very tall side. So that went again. Bloody boring Mick McCarthy. So he didn't hardly won a game. And then we had Stephen Dobbie in, who almost saved us in the Championship. He only had 6 matches. He nearly did it, actually. And the fans wanted him. The fans wanted Stephen Dobbie because he did so well. But again, that's, loads of fans say, how can you judge him on 6 games? Is he good enough? But he was playing decent football. But I thought the game yesterday was a lot better. We had 9 shots in the first half, 5 on target. We scored 4 goals where we scored 1, haven't we? So it was an improvement on the football, but still utterly disappointing. I was so mad yesterday because I could see it coming. I could kind of see it coming. You see these things coming. You think they're going to get, they're going to get, they're going to do this. They're going to get back. And once they got that third, I just knew they were going to. In fact, I thought, if I'm being honest, I thought we were going to lose because I thought it's just swung so much their way, and we were in complete control. So there's only one time I think in my whole life where I can remember Blackpool coming back from 3-0 down to equalise, 3-3 in the last 10 minutes, and it's still like historically remembered. It's like it is literally in our history of folklore of things you talk about, things that happen to Blackpool. That's how rare it is. So how do we let these things don't come along very often to me? So
no.
Yeah,
but we do have a distraction this coming midweek. Blackburn. If you were in charge, who would be your 11 to play in the cup? Do you mix it up?
Oh God. If it had been Critchley, because Critchley is really keen on the cup games, he is good. He would have probably played his main team. I would like to see us go back to a back 4. So I would have probably Husband on as left back, even though we have another left back called Dom Thompson, but he's not getting it at the moment. Some fans don't like him. I like him. He's got a lot of pace. He's a bit of a hothead. He has got sent off he gets booked a bit, but he's got more pace than Husband. But Husband's captain, so he'd have to be left back. And then you've got this new lad whose name just completely escapes me now. The big tall lad. What's he called? We've only seen him twice. Then I'd have Casey and I'd have Gabriel as right back. And then the midfield, God only knows. We quite like this Rob Apter, but CJ Hamilton. It's a bit weird with CJ Hamilton because we were singing a song for him last year, like, ole, 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 CJ, and the whole place was singing that because he had a few good games, but then he kind of went off the boil, and some people just don't like him at all, even though we had a song for him. So you'd probably start at Sonny Carey divides the fans because he's been part of a midfield that's been very unsuccessful, but he's a young lad. He played with Charlie Patino in the Championship, and they were just, I thought in the Championship teams with experienced midfielders were coming, seeing Patino and Carey as just 2 young lads and thinking, this is gonna be a walk in the park. We'll just bully him off the ball. You know what I mean? And it did. They did get bullied, and I kept thinking they need a really strong, like a Charlie Adam, big hard, or Keith Southern, who would just, he was terrifying. So we didn't have that sort of thing. We've lost Dembele, which, he could create things. So we've lost that creativity. I quite like this Evans. That Cicely Evans has come in, so I'll probably have him. Norburn actually played all right. The fans have not been liking him, but he had a good game yesterday, so you probably have to put him in if the team actually did quite well. You probably just stick with that same team as much as possible. Maybe just go for. Whether I'd start with Jordan, we're not starting with Jordan Rose, which you'll be pleased to know, won't you?
It would be nice to have him at Ewood for one more,
The problem with Jordan Rhodes is he was honestly, he was phenomenal last season. He was like, you couldn't believe this striker. He's so lethal. I've never seen anything like it. I'm thinking, wow, this is like proper striker, you know what I mean? And he just runs in between like two bands of grass, like, you know, down the middle. He never strays really out of there, and he's always in the right place. And if he gets a chance, it's like he was saying his foot's like a golf club. He just know, you know, he can instantaneously decide whether to chip it, you know, dink it, hit it hard, hit it on the volley, and he can. He was saying, I watched an interview with him. He was saying how he practices all the time. He always has all his career. He never stopped practicing scoring goals, and he is lethal. But then he got this really bad injury. One of our players fell on him in the box and cracked his 2 ribs, I think, and he was out for a while, wasn't he? Just when he was really on fire. And then in that same game, he had a real good chance to score, and it hit him in the ribs, and he couldn't get his breath, and he couldn't even run to kick it in, and he missed it. And it was like from 2 yards out. He's never kind of recovered from that, really. And then he got another. He came back from his injury at Wigan, and he only lasted 20 minutes. He did something to his knee, so we never saw him then until the end of the season. He just came on for the last game, and he's not really featured very much so far, really. And he didn't do anything like yesterday, but we were under the cosh, you know, at the end, because we'd gone to pieces. You know, he came on when Blackburn.
New manager might give him a chance, give him a, you know, opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, we signed him in a blaze of glory because he came on loan, obviously, and he was out of contract at the end of the season, and nobody thought he was going to come back. But I kind of think they've brought him back with an eye to a coaching role, if I'm being honest, because he can coach the strikers. You know what I mean? He is experienced, and he's so lovely, isn't he? What a lovely guy! Oh my God! You know, you listen to his. You know, his interviews, and he's just he is honestly one of the nicest people I've ever known. He's wonderful, and of course I didn't like him when he was playing against us because he'd always bloody score against us. You know, he'd come on, you think, oh God, Jordan Rhodes. You just think shit. No, it's like Kevin Phillips. We had Kevin Phillips. He was the same. You know, he always scored against Blackpool, but when we got him as a player, they'd just bring him on for like the last 15 minutes. And you could see the other team, like, I think, oh, God, because you know he scores, doesn't it? It's like, if you bring him on in 15 minutes to go, he scores. And the other, you know, anyway, there's lots of stories, but.
Yeah, well, the Jordan Rhodes thing is a good segue to this little 60-second burst, right? So I'm gonna throw players at you. There's about 15 of them.
That I won't know.
No, they play for Blackpool. You should know them.
Oh,
right.
yes.
So here we go. Let me get my clock on here. We got 60 seconds. It's meant to be like, you know, gut instinct. Gut instinct. Okay, here we go. Starting with Simon Grayson, Colin Hendry.
Simon Grayson.
Simon Grayson, Jordan Rhodes.
Jordan Rhodes.
Jordan Rhodes, Tom Tribal.
Jordan Rhodes.
Jordan Rhodes, John Curtis.
Jordan Rhodes.
Jordan Rhodes, Paul Dickoff.
Jordan Rhodes. I still got Jordan Rhodes.
Jordan Rhodes, DJ Campbell.
DJ Campbell.
DJ Campbell, Danny Graham.
DJ Campbell.
DJ Campbell, Graham Fenton.
DJ Campbell.
DJ Campbell, Alan Marn.
DJ Campbell.
DJ Campbell, Alex Baptiste.
DJ Campbell.
DJ Campbell, Paul Warhurst.
DJ Campbell.
DJ Campbell, Nathan D'Alfonso.
Still DJ Campbell.
DJ Campbell, Mike Newell.
DJ Campbell.
DJ Campbell, Luke Varney.
Ooh, well, Luke Varney was only on loan. DJ Campbell. I like him both.
We'll end it on that one. That one's
there's only one that would knock DJ Campbell off. There's only one player that would. Well, actually, there's
Charlie Adam or whatever.
Yeah, Charlie Adam would have, and then if it had been Charlie Adam up against David Vaughan would have been my choice, funnily enough. And if David Vaughan had been up against Brett Ormrod, there would have been.
Well, Brett Ormrod was in my list, but he never actually played for.
He never played for Blackburn Rovers. No, of course he didn't. No, so you couldn't put him in. But of all the, of course you had to limit it to ones with Blackburn Rovers. But yeah, so yeah.
But the unmentioned, I got Barry Ferguson, Jason Wilcox, Joe Rothwell. Jay Spearing.
No.
Any of those?
See, Jay Spearing was here in the boycott years, so it didn't really feature much.
Boycott years.
Yeah, the boycott years. But yeah. I suppose you're limited to the players that play for both Blackburn and.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, my favourite player of all time is Brett Ormerod. You know, without a doubt.
Oh wow.
You
Yeah.
know,
Well, he was a goal machine.
well, he scored. He scored for Blackpool in every single division. You know, he's the only. In fact, he's probably. I'm not sure if he's actually the only player in the country for any team anywhere that's ever scored in all 4 divisions for the same team. I think he's the only one that's ever done it, which is quite amazing, really, isn't it?
Well, I don't think I can think of.
No.
But Lee, if I was to push you for a prediction for Tuesday night at Ewood, Blackpool go to Rovers, what's your final score?
I can't see us winning. I can't see it. I work with a guy who's a Blackburn Rovers fan, but he lives in Blackpool, and his son's Blackpool because they've been living here for his son's life. So he's always took him there. So he has a season ticket to go and watch Blackpool because he goes with his son. But he's Blackburn Rovers, you know what I mean? So he was telling me he'd come in. He said because he'd come in. I went to work. He said, "Oh, you know, Blackburn Rovers you've got." He said, "Funnily enough," he said, "My son wasn't home for the draw. So when he come in, he said, how's the draw gone, Dad?" And he said, "Well," he said, We've got an easy one, but you've got an hard one." I thought brilliant, yeah. So honestly, you're like, our ultimate bogey side, that's Ipswich, but we don't have a lot of luck at. We don't have a lot of luck with Blackburn Rovers, really. Even the Premier League, we got stiffed. We did. It was never a goal kick to you. It was our corner. Took a bloody long goal kick, hit it all the way down. Kingston fumbled it, and you equalised. If we'd have just gone in injury time, if we'd just got those 3 points there, we'd have stayed up. You know what I mean? We went down on goal difference, for God's sake. It's just, Gary Taylor Fetcher scores that beautiful goal, doesn't he? He runs the whole length. He runs all the way around the thing. He runs all the way down to the, celebrating to the dugouts, and then they go. And then they chalk it off. It was oh God. So it's not lucky for us, Blackburn Rovers. I know, but we're like Blackburn Rovers. The people, I'm going to say this now. People at Blackburn are just lovely. So it's all right. It's a kind of a family club, isn't it? And then I kind of understand why you hate, because you go to Burnley and it's like going back in time to some sort of medieval fighting battleground. It's terror. You walk down that road to Burnley and it's, the main thing, and there's all the pubs. It's just terrifying. It really is. You don't get any of that at Blackburn Rovers. We don't get, when we go to Blackburn Rovers, you can. I went to film there the other day. I'm in the fan zone, and you had this guy over. Last time I went, there was a guy over from bloody Argentina or something who followed Blackburn Rovers, and he was there. They brought him over as a guest and all this sort of stuff. I think it's bloody lovely. It's so nice, friendly. Everybody was nice. We were wearing tangerine, and nobody was wanting to kill us. You go to Burnley and it's like, oh my God, you need to be near a police horse as close as you can be. It's terrifying. So I can understand why. I don't know why the difference in the two places is phenomenal. So we're not big fans, obviously, of Burnley, because of. In fact, we've really had a lot more rivalry with Burnley. Even though when the season where Burnley stayed in the Football League, you remember that day where David McNiven, wasn't it? I think we actually, because at that time, like my dad was always like, kind of had a soft spot for all the, like, well, apart from the Nobbers, obviously we hate them, but he kind of like, in our house when Scotland were in the World Cup, they were cheering for Scotland because it's British, and so. He took me to Burnley, so I went to that final game of the season, just to cheer him on. He didn't want to go down. Just
respect.
Yeah, there wasn't that hatred in our family, of the opposition. Really, there wasn't. I mean, you just have to hate somebody. You can't be a football fan and not hate some teams. Obviously, the team that we hate is North End, but it's not like a.
You don't want them going out of business. You want that rivalry to be there. It's kind of,
Yeah, you've got to hate.
You have to have
it. I've got to hate you, really. And if I'm going to do a vlog, I don't want to lose to you. But Jane, when we were last time, Jane had some friends who were actually follow the Lancashire Hot Pots. You've probably heard. Have you heard of Lancashire Hot Pots? Kind of, northern. Have you ever heard of them? The Lancashire Hot Pots.
No, I know. Well, I heard of
you live in America,
actual thing. I know, I am. Yes, I'm cut off a little bit.
They're a band, and they're kind of like a folk, like a bit like a comedy band. And their most famous song actually hit the charts, and it was Chippy Tea. So it's there's a song called, so search it. It's a Lancashire Hot Pots.
I'll check it out.
They're quite funny. They make songs out of like say for instance like head, shoulders, knees and toes. Well, they do eggs, sausage, chips and beans. So they have all these songs that you know what I mean. And the whole place is mental. They do a song called Shop Mobility Scooter, which this guy has a Shop Mobility Scooter, and the final line is where. It's saying like, where's he going to park? Because of all the restrictions. Then the last thing is, where's he going to put Gene on his Shop Mobility scooter? But the song then finishes on na 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 na. Hey Gene, the whole thing's going mental, So she's. They call them hot potters, the people that watch it. Most of the guys wear, the flat caps and they all go. They're massive in the Northwest, and she goes and sees them all the time. So she had friends who are Lancashire hot potters who live in Blackburn. So we went, and it was just after COVID, and they made their little shed into a pub, a little micro pub thing, as people did. A lot of people did. So we went to the last time I went to Blackburn Rovers. We went for drinks in their shed and all sorts of stuff. But they were Blackburn Rovers fans. So
okay, well we are not. So you didn't give me a score prediction though. What's it going to be?
Oh God. I can't predict to lose. It's not in my nature.
Penalty shootout victory for Blackpool. How about that?
2-1. 2-1 to Blackpool.
2-1. All right.
I'll be absolutely slated. It's just miracles happen.
Hey, time to shine for Mr.
Who'd have thought Stockport would have beaten Blackpool 3-0 at home?
No.
So who'd have
maybe a second chance for Keogh. Maybe he'll get the addition right.
Blackburn Rovers just can't be arsed.
Maybe. We got Burnley on Saturday. So
you've got bigger things to
fish.
Think about. It's like you don't really want to be injuring anybody this game, so you might just put a bunch of kids out who'll probably beat us anyway, because we always get beat by kids as well. That's another thing. We can put kids out, we'll lose. So it's not a confident 2-1.
No. But where can the people watching this video find you?
They can find me at Lee Charles TV. But it's actually Lee Charles TV Blackpool fan channel. So if you actually search Blackpool fan, I'm the number one.
There we go.
Biggest. Not as big as you, though, Dirt. You're doing really well. So you're like God. You're like,
it's all about the grind.
You're like royalty to me. Like royalty.
No, well, I appreciate
the dream of
30,000.
I can't get to 8,000. I've been trying.
We'll help Lee get to 8, 10.
Subscribe out of pity.
Break that hoodoo for him and get him over there.
If you subscribe to my channel and you watch my videos, you'll realize how bad it is really being a fan of.
Well, Lee's vlogs are like works of art, so go check them out. They're not like thrown together. You put you grind it out. It's
I do 8 hour edits and because I'm actually obsessed with making movies. That's the thing with me. It's more about making the movie than like just being a football vlogger. You know what I mean? I never wanted to be a football vlogger. That wasn't where I started out. I was making videos for brides and grooms because I'm a DJ, and that's how I got into making little videos from my side of the decks, and share it with the bride and groom on Facebook, so they could share it with their friends. And then people would ring me up and say, "Hey, I saw your video. You know what I mean? Would you want to do my wedding?" And that was the idea of it. But just stupid Blackpool came back from the boycott and I did a video. And my first, I don't know if you've seen it, but I went to this meeting about the coming back, and they'd realised that because because we'd only had like 1,000 fans in a 15,000 seat stadium for 5 years, there was just pigeon poo everywhere on the seat. They'd not been sat in for like 5 years. There was, honestly, it was unbelievable. And they realized they had to clean all this in like a week because the fans were coming back. It was like a sellout, and there was nowhere for everyone to sit because all the seats are covered in terrible. So they were asking for volunteers to go and clean the seats. So I thought I'll go. I thought I'll tell you what, I'll go. I'll pick up a bucket and sponge, and I'll go and I'll clean the seats, and I'll make a video on it. I thought I'll make a video, and I'll film all the pigeon poo and film these guys doing, and all about it. And I did this video, and within like 12 hours of putting online, I had the One Show, which is a Blackpool, which is a TV show, and the Quest HD, which at the time we're doing all the football highlights show, and they both wanted to use my footage. I thought, wow, first video, and I've got like TV coming on to me. Nice. This is easy, isn't it? This is easy. So I got interviewed in the next video because they came down and they met me on the comedy carpet, and I had an interview with the One Show, and they did about a 5-minute interview with me. And on the video, when it came on the One Show on national TV, they just put one thing that I said. I talked all about my dad, everything. And all they put in was, I said, "You won't believe the hell we've been through. You won't believe it." And that was it. That was my. And then the other TV show, they showed my video that I made. Me, and I tell this story all the time. Do you remember Monsters Inc? The film Monsters Inc. You ever see it with like little green Mikey and Sully and all that? So they do an advert, don't they, for Monsters Inc. in the first one, and they're all waiting for this big moment when they're all on this advert, and it goes to little Mikey, the little green guy, and just as he's about to speak, they put like a stamp over him, don't they? Say like Monsters Inc. So you see him for like a microsecond because they put a big thing over him, and the film goes to him, doesn't it? And he's got this one eye, it's like blinking, and you're thinking he's going to cry, he's going to cry, and he just and he goes, "I'm on TV," and he's so excited because he gets this like 1 second of fame. He's like so happy he's been on for 1 second. So I've got the family round, right? I've got the boys round. Dad's on TV. Yeah. They show my video, and they show like the bit where I've filmed like all the pigeon poo, and a bit where I've talked about like how we cleaned them all. I say something like, this is it, Oyster, this is how you look after your own stuff. You keep it clean. It's all nice and clean. And then they go to the only shot of me in the whole video. And what I did was I recorded myself like cleaning the seats. So I put the camera there and I'm cleaning the seats, like that. But they chopped my head off. My head's not on. So you just get my like torso. So you can imagine all the kids going, "I'm on TV." Anyway, that's it. That was it. That was my moment of fame. Head chopped off. Couldn't even tell who it was. Could have been anyone. So I didn't even get my moment. And all I said was, and all I've got on the other one is, "You won't believe the hell we've been through. You won't believe it." That's it. I've talked to him for about 45 minutes about my dad and how important the boycott was, and in fact, there's more of them when I do the video on the walk back, the homecoming video, which is one of my main videos. There's more of me interviewing them on my vlog than there is of them interviewing. I'm here with the One Show, I'm so happy. Here they are, cameraman is. They didn't put me in at all. So that's it.
So you never watch the One Show ever again. If it comes on, turn it off.
So please subscribe to the channel.
Get Lee the subscribers. Get him over the mark. Well, Lee,
I've got to get to 8,000. You will.
And then once you get to 8, 10 will follow, and the rest will be history.
10, honestly, if I got to 10,000, I think I'd just retire because I don't think I can ever get there. It's like an impossible mountain. I can't. I watched Blackpool. We've got relegated. If we're going to the Premier League.
You need to get the good times back at Blackpool and then get them promoted.
You have 10,000 now. Everybody be wanting to talk to me, and this, Arsenal would know me. Everybody know me. Exactly. Now I have bloody Crawley.
Burnt Albion again. Anyway, Lee, I'm gonna let you go. Appreciate your time. Thanks for all the good stuff there.
You can edit it all out now, I suppose. Or you're just gonna go with it.
No, I'm probably just going to bookend it. I'll put, a beginning and an out, and then.
Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure. Tomorrow. May the best team win, as they say. The only trouble is I've got to go into work to face Rob, the Blackburn fan, on Wednesday.
Give him our love. Well, again,
he always tells me how good Shearer was.
We're not in those times
talks
either.
About Shearer with I don't know. He just,
Appreciate it, Lee.
Jordan Rose, he'll get 5.
Yeah, wow. Hey, a lot of fans would just like to see him again, and if he scores, they will be happy for him.
Yeah. Well, they always come back and score against you. Well, they do against us. If we'd have had Jordan Rose and you had Jordan Rose, and he'd score, because Shane Lavery, we played him yesterday. He got 2 assists. You know what I mean? He was injured. He was permanently injured for Blackpool. Permanently.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. It's the love of the game, they say.
We've got rid of him, and he banged 2 goals against us and brought it back. Broke my heart yesterday. That.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, again,
right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. Thanks to all your subscribers. Subscribe to Dirt.
Get in there. Get in there for Lee.
Keep him going. Does a lot of hard work. It's a lot of work.
It is a grind. It is definitely a lot of work. I was up at 4 a.m. this morning trying and preparing for stuff. Well, there you have it, folks. There you bloody have it. A big shout out once again to Lee to give up a bit of his time to talk all things Rovers Blackpool in the Cup this week. Make sure you check out the links to his channel in the description. Do us a favour and smash your subscribe over there and get involved with his channel as well. But that's it. Looking forward to kickoff. Until then, we're done.